What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 56 of the RUDIS Wrestling Podcast, brought to you, of course, by RUDIS. Matt, I just got done listening to your, I'm not done. I have 10 minutes left, so I'm close to being done. Listening to your interview with Anatoly Beloglazov. I thought that was a lot of fun. I thought it was fascinating to hear because I can't remember hearing someone from the old Soviet Union or Russia talk at length like you guys did about what the training system was like and everything like that. I thought it was awesome.
It was really fascinating. Yeah, I mean, just from a curiosity standpoint, it's something we had talked about a little bit, and so to get a really in-depth in-depth look at the Russian system and how they do things and how they operate and the decisions they make was, I mean, it was a fascinating interview, and it got to the point where it kept gaining steam throughout the episode, to the point, and it went so long that I could have gone like another hour, but we had other things to do. So
I thought it was fascinating, Matt. I mean, the part that I chuckled at, because most of the stuff was kind of what I've heard before. It wasn't like, oh my gosh, I've never heard that. It was like they were just kind of clarifying what I had heard. But the one part that I was chuckling at, because I spent some time over there, both in wrestling and then with One Championship, and we said, if our number one guy, maybe he makes a team and then he goes home for 3 months and, he just sits on the couch to be lazy and he comes to camp and coach says, hey, not in shape. Maybe we get another guy. It's like, that's such a bizarre way to do it. Because you could just say that about anybody, man. You could just say, you don't look like you're in very good shape. We're going to get another guy.
Yeah, and I think in our democratic society, it's such a foreign concept that you would just, nope. You're out. This guy's in.
That's so funny because Matt, I guarantee at some point there was a person who just wasn't. This could happen all the time. I don't know, who just wasn't in favor for whatever reason. They just didn't like him. Maybe he came from the wrong place, or he was just a dick in general, or there was just some issue.
Well, I mean,
they just said, you don't look in shape. You're out of here, dude.
And even Anatoly even referenced that, like back in 79. So he had won the world championships in 77, 78, 79. He talks about he overtrained. He didn't have his coach side by side with him leading up to the world championships. He didn't place, and he totally fell out of favor. And he said, did I
hear that part, or is that at the very end? Because I don't recall this part right now.
It might have been at the very end, but yeah, after he didn't place in 79, he said, they discarded me. They didn't want to have anything to do with me. He had to totally prove himself throughout the year and earn his favor back into the Russian system. So you would think, in our country, if you're a two-time gold medalist, you don't place. It's like you don't just lose faith in the guy after one bad tournament.
It's crazy because there's no. I mean, and I get that we can't look at everything from an American lens, Matt. But it's so speculative. It's like, you don't look very good. You're out of here. We're going to get somebody else.
Yeah. Crazy. I don't like you. I like this guy. Yeah.
So crazy.
I don't like the way you look. But.
Oh, my goodness. Okay.
Yeah. So it was really, I mean, I loved it. I mean, I just from a conversational standpoint and just talking to them and getting insight and their perspective, even their perspective on us a little bit was great. And,
absolutely.
Near the end of the interview, I think it's in the last 10 minutes, we actually get pretty in depth into Sadulayev and Snyder.
I'm just getting to that part right now. So
I mean, that stuff's really, really good. So yeah, people that are tuning in, it's a very long episode. I think it's in excess of an hour and a half.
Yes.
There wasn't a logical place to break it up into two parts, so we just rolled it out on one long episode. But it definitely, after the first half hour, it definitely gained speed and momentum, and the back half is really, really good stuff.
Nice. Okay. Well, so let's go on. Is there anything else? So we finished like you talked about last time. We finished the U.S. Open scoring breakdown. We're going to talk about that, I believe, next week. And then, obviously, next week we're going to talk about the World Team Trials. But today, we're going to preview the World Team Trials. I think the most exciting news that came out recently was that Jason Nolf is moving up a weight class. I think that's pretty interesting. The other one it almost pisses me off, Matt. Nick Suriano is not going to wrestle. What the heck?
I thought for sure, like, he was just testing the waters how to beat the streets. Obviously, he was prepared. He was ready to go. I have no idea. I mean, when is the final deadline for registration?
No, they say he's out. Today? I asked questions. They said he's not wrestling. He's out.
Really?
Yeah.
What? I mean, did you get any reason behind that?
I didn't dig deeper. I did not. I just said this is so annoying.
Because you would think he just beat Cologne.
Yes.
Straight up.
World medalist. Joe Cologne.
World medalist. Nishan's out, right? Nishan is injured again, or he's got a lingering injury, but he's out as well. So it just seems like the door's open for him to make a splash and really have. I mean, he's got a legitimate shot to make the team. I mean, he proved that last week.
Yeah, I mean, legit. But yeah, legit shot, Matt, and really at either weight class because he's also beaten Dayton this year, and Dayton's sitting at the final Alex at 57 kg. So I don't really know. I don't know what he's doing. I wish I could go. I wish we could go interview him right now. I really do.
Yeah, it's the same thing. We haven't heard any rumors that Spencer's going to jump in.
He's
so
not.
It's not.
I heard he's out too. I heard he's not wrestling.
Yeah, but that's not as much as a surprise because I haven't heard anything.
Yeah,
I didn't hear anything out.
I mean, Matt, I would be more annoyed if Spencer wasn't wrestling if he had just been a world medalist last week. But we kind of heard Spencer was out for a while now, so it's not like a surprise. But Nick Suriano, Matt, just beat a world medalist freaking 8 days ago or 9 days. I don't know something, and just go wrestle, Nick. What are you doing?
Yeah, and if you're projecting out to 2022, like 2020, I mean. If he makes the team in medals, he sits for the Olympic trials. Yes. He's waiting, but now he's got to run the gauntlet next year because he's not sitting out next year.
And inside information, Matt, the man told me last week he didn't want to fight when he got done with college. So if you don't want to fight and you're this good a wrestler, you're obviously going to wrestle. So go freaking wrestle.
Which is another surprising piece of information because that was kind of the talk, the rumor mill in the wrestling circles is that he's going to jump into MMA.
He told me no. He told me no deal.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, that makes it even more curious. It would be one thing is like, okay, I want to wrestle one more year. I'm going to finish up my eligibility. I'm going to jump into MMA. You know, that would make logical sense.
Yes, it would make a lot of sense.
If he's saying his plans moving forward are wrestling for the foreseeable future,
yeah,
you're ready. I mean, you're ready to go.
Yeah, I really don't know what he's doing. I don't know what he's thinking. Either way, let's talk about. So since we're getting annoyed about the guys who are not wrestling, let's
there's so many good guys and there's so many conversations to get through. I mean. We tend to run our mouths too long every episode, so we gotta jump into this and get rolling, right?
Got it. Let's do it. Okay, let's get right into it. 57 kgs. So now, of course, we have Dayton Fix sitting at Final X, and we have nobody sitting in the trials. So all these guys will wrestle on day one of the trials. The two finalists will then move on and wrestle a best 2 out of 3 series on the second day of the trials. So here's who we got, Matt. We had Thomas Gilman. We got Jack Mueller. So Vito Aruja is going to move down and wrestle the juniors division, which I'm good with that.
Yeah. I mean, he jumped in. He assessed where he was at, and I think he's better served for one more year in the junior division. So I think that's a good choice on his part. And
okay, well,
I admire him for jumping out and testing himself.
Okay, Spencer Lee not showing up. We got Darian Cruz. We got Josh Rodriguez, Zane Richards. Nathan Tomasello is apparently not wrestling, correct?
Correct. Nate, it tweaked his hamstring. He's been going, I mean, this whole year has been
injury after injury.
Injury after injury. He said he could go. I mean, obviously, he's one of our RUDIS athletes, so we have a lot of dialogue with him. I was talking to Nate last week, and he said, Matt, I could go. He's like, I'm not 100%. I could feel that. He's like, I wasn't 100% for the open, but I needed to jump in there and see where it's at. He's like, I'm going to be better served to get entirely healthy and gearing up since the Olympic trials is so early. I mean, it's right around the corner.
It's April.
The Olympic trials is not that far away.
No.
So he's going to take the the next 4 months to really get recuperated, fully healthy, and 100% so he can attack 2020, which I think is a smart choice on his part.
So you really only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Apparently, you're gonna be 6 guys in the trials bracket. I've noticed that, Matt. I can't remember. I was trying to think what it was a few years back. There used to be much larger trials brackets, and I know they kind of were more lenient on the qualification standards. And now it's not the case. So most of these brackets are 8 or under. So really, in this bracket, Matt, the finals will be wrestled on day 2. So really, you only have some of these guys are only going to get one match, right? Thomas Gilman, seated at number 1, will have a bye in the quarters. We'll wrestle someone in the semis, and then the finals will be on day 2.
Which I like that there's a more stringent qualification process now, because there's an added layer into Final X now. So
yes,
when you're talking about, and we talked about this last week, when you're going from the US Open to the World Team Trials to Final X, and some of these guys even had to wrestle last chance qualifier as well, that's a lot of competition in a short period of time.
Mm-hmm.
So, having a 16-man field is not, it's not it could really open these guys up for injury, not being at their best. I mean, that's almost too much wrestling over a month yes. window, in essence.
I would agree. Okay. So I think the pick for this one is fairly obvious. Who is your pick to win the World Team Route at 57 kg and go wrestle Dayton Fix at Final X?
I mean, you've got to say it's Gilman.
It's Gilman.
Hands down. I mean, a healthy Nathan Tomasello, I think, could press him. We didn't see a healthy Nathan. And I know he kind of, Gilman handled him at the US Open, but that wasn't a Tomasello. That was 100%. But outside of that, although Jack Mueller looked really good at beat the streets. He looked really good, but Piccanini is not a freestyle guy per se.
Yeah, and he's not Thomas Gilman.
So, and Gilman, two-time world team member, bronze medalist, 5th last year. Yeah, you would think he's got the inside track at this weight. Do you have any other thoughts?
No,
or insight
I think it's. I mean, and I'm not a Thomas Gilman fan. I actually think about him frequently because these turkeys are walking around my yard puffing out their feathers. And I know his thing is peacock season, but I think about Thomas Gilman when the male turkeys are running my yard, puffing out their feathers, trying to chase the female turkeys around. I chuckle about it. So
now I'm on the other hand, I am a Gilman fan. I like his style. I like his swag. I like what he's about. I like how he competes, and I think his level of candor is actually refreshing. And I'm actually surprised you don't find that refreshing, because that's kind of where you're coming from most of the time.
Well, yeah, I don't know. There's just something bugs me about Thomas Gilman. He's gonna win. He's gonna win though. He's going to win fairly dominantly, I believe. So I think we go on to the next weight class. I don't really see anyone challenging Thomas Gilman, so I don't know that there's a gigantic amount to discuss here.
No, not really.
And we always run out of time at the end. We habitually run out of time at the end, where we're just hustling through the last ones. Okay, 61 kg. Joe Colon is sitting out the Final X because he's a world medalist, which means at this weight class, Cody Brewer, being the U.S. Open champion, is sitting out until day 2 of the World Team Trials. So here's who you have qualified. I have heard Nashawn Garrett is not wrestling. You have Sean Foss.
I've heard the same thing.
Austin Gomez, who also have not heard he's wrestling. Nick Suriano, not wrestling. Nico Beloglazov, Joey Palmer, Tyler Graff, Corey Clark, Tony Ramos, Earl Hall. I think more depth at this weight class, for sure. But by performances of the U.S. Open, I will pick first here. By performance of the U.S. Open, I think that Nico Beloglazov is going to win the Saturday tournament, and he will go on to wrestle Cody Brewer at the Sunday tournament, the best 2 out of 3. And I think Nico Beloglazov is going to beat Cody Brewer on Sunday.
Do you really?
Yeah, I thought Nico looked great, man. I couldn't believe how good Nico looked at the U.S. Open. I've never been so impressed with him. He was very clearly winning the Cody Brewer match until he got pinned. So I think if he just tightens it up a little bit, and why he wasn't tightened up against Cody Brewer in the first place, because Cody Brewer is about as dangerous as a wrestler as it gets. So why he wasn't already tightened up, I'm not really sure of that. But nevertheless, I think he tightens up. He beats Cody Brewer. He goes to wrestle Joe Cole in Final X. I don't know. I don't know the update on Deshaun Garrett, why he's not wrestling. Obviously, I think he would be a huge factor at this weight class.
Yeah, I think I agree. I'm gonna side with your picks.
Nice.
I'm gonna say this goes. I'm gonna say Mega.
Do you know where Deshaun Garrett's at?
Where he's at physically?
No, where he's at. Why is he not wrestling?
I've heard he's injured still.
Still?
I've heard two different things. I heard it's still the same lingering things with the same issue, but I heard he possibly could have injured something else as well.
Really?
Which is a shame.
Yeah, that's big. So he had a great year last year.
I think he's had a great year, but I think that's what's really inhibited his growth is that he's a thoroughbred. So thoroughbreds tend to get injured, dinged up, and I think especially as you accumulate more wear and tear, the older you grow.
Yeah. And absolutely.
Being a thoroughbred,
I'm 30. I'm not thorough. I'm more of a workhorse, Matt. But I'm 34, and dog, everything hurts. I wrestled John Reeder yesterday. My neck hurt, my back hurt. John Reeder pulling on my neck. Damn it, John! Had to get loose this morning.
I will say I do agree. I think it's going to be Nico and Brewer. That's 2 out of 3, and I think it goes the full 3 matches.
Okay.
Just because I think Brewer is so dangerous, as you alluded to.
That's a great point.
You give him 12 minutes of wrestling. At some point,
he's
going to hit something big. At some point, he's going to get you.
Yep.
But I think over the course of a 3-match series, I'm gonna give the nod to Nico as well.
Yep. Okay, I agree. All right, 65 kg sitting out till Final X. Yanni Diamakahalis. So Mitch McKee, I've not heard he's competing. We have Colton Crystal, Dom Demas, BJ Futrell, Zane, Jason Ness, Frank Molinaro, Jaden Ironman, Jordan Oliver, Kanan Storr, and Dean Heil. So I know the talk yesterday, Matt, was where would Jordan Oliver be seated since he did not wrestle on day 2 of the U.S. Open and defaulted all the way on 6th place. So number one, I want you to take.
Are we really gonna get into this? You're sitting out like we did in the NCAA season. This is
what's your
totally
take?
Different.
Tell me
scenario.
What your take is.
Hey, if you're qualified for the world team trials, what's the point?
But should you get seeded?
More matches.
Should you get seeded higher?
Yes, you should get seeded.
What? So the argument against Jordan Oliver is that he was suspended. He hasn't beat any of these guys because he's mostly been wrestling at 70 kg. So what are the results that prove that he should be seated higher than a lot of these guys?
I think you have to factor in past performances.
Technically, they only factor in the last 2 years.
Well, I think there's got to be an exception to every rule. And USA Wrestling, don't tell me you're bound by. I know we referenced the Russian system and they pick their favorites or whatever in their selection procedure. Don't tell me USA Wrestling, you're so bound by criteria and procedures that you can't deny that this guy, if he's in this weight, it should be argued that he could be the number 1 seed and he's the favorite, even though he defaulted out.
Oh, well, I think there's no way you seed him above Zane. I think you seed Zane number 1 no matter what here. But then it's like,
Zane,
do you so Ness beat Molinaro? I mean, I could see the argument for putting Oliver at 4. I really could. He didn't wrestle on day 2. He hasn't wrestled really anything at 65 kg. I could see the argument for putting him at 4, which, at the end of the day, it matters. Here's why it matters, Matt. Because no one's sitting out till day 2 here, which means if Jordan is seeded 4 and Zane is 1, which he will be, they wrestle on day 1 match. If he's seeded number 2 or 3, then there's a decent chance they wrestle on day 2, which is the best 2 out of 3 series. So it makes a big difference. And I don't know how you justify seeding him above these other guys when there's just no results to back it up.
No, I see your point there. But also, I want to jump in and say it did look like he got a little dinged up against Yanni.
Who? Oliver? Or did he just not want to make weight?
that could be a case too. He's got a big pull, but also Ben, we were talking about he has to qualify through the trials. He wrestled a lot of physical matches at the U.S. Open.
Yep.
Even though he only wrestled one day, he's got to turn around a couple weeks later,
but Matt,
jump into the world team trial.
But he knows if you don't wrestle and you finish 6th instead of 3rd, you're going to get seeded lower. He's got to know that, right?
Then I'm sure he's fine with it, whatever he is. I mean, we didn't hear him make an excuse, and I'm jumping in and defending his position. I thought he looked like he got dinged up a little bit, but now this is a sidebar.
Yeah,
I've actually heard there might be a possibility he bumps up to 70 kg.
Flo was saying that he should or could, but they did not discuss that he was actually going to. So how good are your sources? How good are your sources, Matt?
I know there's a conversation going on.
Really?
I know that. I don't know how legitimate that is.
He's in the same room as Yanni right now. So I think obviously that I would assume that would have to play into the decision. I think the U.S. Open would have been the first time, and he didn't do it, Matt, would have been the first time where he actually had to make 65 kgs both days, which, I think we'll talk about whether that played into Jason Nolf's decision or not. But I think that's an important point. So I'm not shocked to see Jordan Oliver bump up. All right, we can't talk about this one for too long. Let's go ahead. Well, if we had USA Wrestling should have seen this, Matt, because we tried pushing our podcast back a little bit so we could get seeds for this, and they're not releasing the seeds till Friday, so we can't wait that long. So
this is all speculative.
This is all speculative. This is crap.
Right. Yeah. So we're just trying to do the best we possibly can. We know who's in the field. We kind of have a pretty strong idea who's actually. It does.
It matters
totally
big time. This is crap.
Because this is all you look at all these guys. It's style matchups matter, and maybe that's what Oliver's thinking. It's like seed doesn't really matter to me. It's more matchups.
Yes.
It's who I face and the style they wrestle.
Well, who do you think it favors, or who do you think would benefit, Matt, in a match? Jordan Oliver and Zane Rutherford. Who benefits from wrestling one match on Saturday, or who benefits from wrestling 2 out of 3 on Sunday? Who benefits there?
I think the least amount of times that Oliver can compete, the better he will be. Rutherford is just a hammer. You can throw him 10 straight matches, and he's going to deliver the same effort and performance 10 straight times against the best competition. Where Oliver has shown, his conditioning is suspect at times, and I think the weight
the other thing is play into that. The second weigh-in. It's after. It'll be after the second weigh-in.
So I mean, it definitely benefits Oliver to wrestle as few times as possible.
Yes. Okay.
For sure.
I would agree.
Yeah.
So listen, I'm going to pick Zane to make Final X and wrestle Yanni, regardless of the bracketing situation. I just think he's the better guy in this bracket. I do think there's a decent chance that Jordan Oliver pumps up, but regardless of that, I'm picking Zane.
And you jumped in there. Now you picked the last 2 weight classes first.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. You picked the next one first.
Although we're going to agree. I tend to think Zane is the guy. Although my heart, obviously my heart always goes with Frank Molinaro. He's a guy I recruited. He's a guy I coached. Mm-hmm. I love Frank. I believe in Frank. I would never bet.
Get your heart out of here. We only want your brains.
All right, I've got it. If just going strictly on who I think is going to come out and punch his ticket to Final X, it's going to be Zane, because I think even if Oliver makes it through to wrestle Zane, it's going to be a 2-match sweep in favor of Zane.
Okay, good deal. I agree. Zane Rutherford to Final X versus Yanni. That'll be a fun series. Okay, 70 kg. Matt, we're already halfway through, and we're only through 3 of the 10 weight classes. So as usual, we need to pick up the pace. We do this one. Okay, 70 kg. I'll read real fast. Nolf's going up. Deacon's sitting out to Final X. No one is sitting out to day 2. So the finalists wrestle on day 2. Here's your contestants. You have James Green. You have Hayden Hidlay. You have Anthony Ashnault. Frank Molinaro. I don't know why he's listed in this weight class also. He's going the other weight class. Pantelio, Sorensen, Nazar, Klachitsky, Jason Chamberlain, and Joey LaValle. There's your picks.
Well, we'll do Green next weight.
Green next weight. Okay, I got.
Now, James Green, keep your foot on the gas and just dominate people like we know you can. Don't take your foot on the gas. End it. Get off the mat. Get to Final X.
I'll go Green versus Hidlay, day 2, the trials finals. We'll go Green wrestling, Ryan Deacon, and Final X. And we'll obviously be talking about Final X later. Okay, 70 kgs. Now,
okay, I do have to.
What?
You want me to I would choose. I'm saying it's going to be Green Pantaleo.
Oh, okay. Green Pantaleo. Nice.
Yep.
I take it. Okay.
Next weight.
This will be more fun to talk about now. So we have Jason Nolf moving up to this weight class, which in my opinion makes this weight class way more fun. So here is who you have. You have Isaiah Martinez, U.S. Open champion, sitting out until day 2 of the trials. So day 1, they will compete. The winner of day 1 will wrestle Isaiah Martinez in day 2. So here's who you have day 1. Makai Lewis not showing up. So you have Richie Lewis, Tommy Gant, Anthony Valencia, Logan Massa, Brian Murphy, Dan Valamont, Jared Freyer, and Jason Nolf. And I made the mistake of I put Joey Valley at 70. Joey Valley is actually at 74 kgs. So that was my bad. So I think it's my pick first here. I think in the finals of the mini tournament, you're going to have, and I think this is fairly clear, I think you're going to have Tommy Gant versus Jason Nolf. Tommy Gant looks really good at the U.S. Open, but I'm going to pick Jason Nolf, and then we are going to see Jason Nolf versus Isaiah Martinez in an old showdown on day 2. And I think it's going to be a barn burner, but Isaiah Martinez has really turned up the heat this year. He's jumped levels, and I think Isaiah Martinez is going to beat Jason Nolf in 3 matches to go wrestle Jordan Burroughs.
I agree with your mini tournament. I think it's going to be Gant versus Nolf. I think Nolf has got a good 6 weeks since the NCAAs to dial in his freestyle. He showed he was a little loose in some positions at the Open. I think he tightens it up. I think he runs through Gant. I think he faces Isaiah. I agree. Isaiah's found a new level. He's at a great place in his life. His focus is on point. I think he's opened up a gap. And I know we haven't seen Nolf versus Isaiah for a number of years, but I pick Isaiah in 2 straight.
Okay. Isaiah in 2 straight. All right. Cool.
And I believe he's going to push Jordan Burroughs at the trials.
That's a tough pick right there, Matt. Because he did not push him too hard last year. Okay, 79. So here's what we got at 79. We got a similar situation. We have Kyle Dake sitting out the Final X, which means we have Alex Deere sitting out till day 2 of the U.S. Open. I'm sorry, day 2 of the World Team Trials. So what we have here, we have McFadden, who I don't believe is showing up. Aaron Brooks will be wrestling in the junior division, so neither of those two are in. You have Zahid Valencia, Nate Jackson, who I believe is wrestling the weight class above this, Chandler Rogers, who I believe is wrestling Greco. So they got a bunch of guys listed who I don't think will be in here. You have Chance Marsteller, you have Nick Becker, you have Matt Feinsilver, you have Gino Morelli, you have Stacey Davis, you have Ben Harvey. And then the one that makes this one more interesting is Mark Hall was just added. So here's what I think the seed's going to go. I think the seed is going to go Valencia 1, Mark Hall 2, Chance Marsteller 3, Nick Becker 4. It is your pick first.
Hey. Okay. What? I don't want to jump backwards and get back in the Oliver conversation, but how are you placing Mark Hall number 2? He hasn't wrestled the last couple years.
2 years ago. 2 years ago, he won Junior Worlds.
How does that carry weight in the
senior division? 2 years, Matt.
I know it does.
Matt, it's 2 years.
I know, but he hasn't competed at the senior level.
It's a junior world title. That's a freaking big deal.
Now I'm going to contradict myself after that and say I believe Mark Hall's going to come through and face Derringer. I think it's going to be Mark Hall.
You think Mark
Hall's
going to beat Zahid?
I do.
Come on.
So that being said, as much as I was arguing against his number 2 seed, I think he's going to win the mini tournament, and I think he's going to take on Derringer, and I believe Derringer wins it in 3 matches.
Well, you think he's going to take Derringer 3 matches to beat Mark Hall?
Yes.
Wow. That's a ballsy pick by you since we haven't seen Mark Hall compete at the senior level. You know what I'm most interested in this week?
He's a two-time junior world champ.
He is, absolutely. He's really, really feeling good. I was just getting pissed like 2 weeks ago that the dude hadn't showed up at anything.
Yeah.
I think it's very interesting that going into next year, all of these guys, I mean, you can say this with some other weight classes, but I don't know why this weight class interests me more than others. All these guys are going to have to find, or likely find, a new weight class next year. And so it interests me looking at, because I think, especially the top two, right? Dake and Deere.
And I think
the top two, they're world level. They're both top 5 guys in the world right now. So for them, finding a new home, that's kind of interesting to see where they're going to go.
And really, I think a couple of these guys are kind of in no man's land in the sense, like,
yeah, it's hard being in the middle. There.
They're just in the middle. This is actually a perfect weight class. 79, I think,
it's a
is
great
perfect.
weight class. Yes,
it's perfect for the top 4 guys. It's perfect for Dake. It's perfect for Derringer. It's perfect for Zahid, and it's perfect for Hall. So it's going to be a sacrifice either way if they go up or down.
Yeah.
But yeah, for sure, for the top 2 guys that are world class, and I believe Derringer. This is the crazy thing. I think Derringer's definitely, if he makes the team, and I don't think that's going to happen with Kyle Dake. I think if he were to pull the upset and make the team, I think he medals this year. I think he's that good.
Listen, if Derringer, I'm sorry, if Dake really has some injuries, man, I think that Derringer's chances of making the team go up.
I mean, have you heard that about Dake?
No, you told me.
Yeah.
You didn't really tell me. I
think he's going to be...
We've been guessing.
Yeah. I think he's going to be good to go, and he's going to be ready to roll. But if there was an injury, maybe that played into the decision about staying up. I know there's a lot of speculation and talking. Why wouldn't he go down and challenge Burroughs this year?
Absolutely.
Since he, to position himself better leading into 2020. But if there was an injury involved, and to shrink his body and also be healthy and prepared to go, I think that's probably a stretch. Now, this is speculation, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's what my general thought would be, especially if I'm coaching him or planning it out, not just through this year, but next year.
Yeah. Okay. So I have, I'm going to go Valencia versus Derringer. Derringer gets payback from last year. I heard Derringer had some injuries. Derringer goes on to wrestle Kyle Dake. Obviously, we'll be discussing. We got a special little treat for everyone for our final leg. So we'll be discussing those matchups later. Okay. So 86 kg, we have Pat Downey. So David Taylor sitting out the final legs. Pat Downey sitting out till day 2. You have Miles Martin, Lou Duprez, who I don't believe is wrestling. You have Drew Foster, Nick Heflin, Sammy Brooks, Brett Farr, Nathan Jackson, Kenny Courts, and one more, and Nino Bonacorsi.
Okay, so
let's see. You picked last, so I picked. So, man, the interesting thing here is, I think when I look at this field, Matt, I think Miles Martin is the best guy in the field. Okay. That being said, they were just talking about this on Flow yesterday. Miles Martin, which I knew he wasn't great against him. Miles Martin has never beaten Sammy Brooks. Did you realize that?
I did know that.
Oh my goodness! So, with that being said,
which is that's inconceivable that he's never beat Brooks. When I found that out, I'm like, that can't be right.
It's right.
I jump back, look at result. It's right. I can't believe it.
It's right.
I'm still, even though I know it, I still can't believe it.
Nope, it's absolutely right. Okay, so we are going to have who? Let's see. I got to pick first. I find it so hard to believe. Like, I would absolutely pick Miles Martin to win this bracket, but then when I see he's probably wrestle Sammy Brooks, F it. I'm going with Miles Martin to wrestle Pat Downey, gets revenge on Pat Downey from the U.S. Open, and goes to wrestle David Taylor in final legs.
Yeah, I think Miles. Again, I have maybe a little bit more insight because he's one of our athletes and he's right here in Columbus.
Did you yell at him for getting gut wrenched so many times? Because that's what I would have yelled at him for.
I think he's back. He's found his groove. I think he's going to storm through the mini tournament. I think he's going to run through Downey 2 straight matches. I think lessons learned.
Wow.
I think he's gotten over. I think there was some lingering and some residual after effects from the NCAA tournament. I think he's cleared the mechanism. I think he's ready to roll. And I think we're going to see the version of Miles Martin that we saw for the last time, 5-6 months through the college season.
Nice. Okay.
I think he rolls through this weight.
Ooh,
is my pick.
him. I like it. Okay, we got Jaden Cox, final legs. Sitting out till Sunday, we have Bo Nickel. We have Christian Bruner, Colin Moore, Jacob Warner, who I don't know that any three of those are team members from last year from the U23 and juniors. I don't know that any of those guys are showing up. You have TJ Dudley, Hayden Zilmer, Mike Machiavello, Riley Lefevre, Timmy McCall, and Scotty Boykin. And this one would be your pick.
I would take, if we have Nickel versus the field, I'm taking Nickel.
Nickel's winning.
In a run. I mean, there's no discussion.
Okay.
I mean,
pick a day one winner.
This is just gonna
tough one. Right? Is Colin Moore wrestling? You're in Columbus. You might.
I haven't heard if he's wrestling or not, and I don't have many discussions about him. But I would, if I had, I would say Machiavello to come through again. I think, but it's going to be the same result two more times against Nickel. I think he tech falls in both matches.
All right, there we go. I got the same prediction as you do. Okay, 97 kg. We have Kyle Snyder, final X. Kyvan Gatson sitting out till Sunday. We have Kirk Levitt and Jack Elam will not be wrestling. We have not heard anything about Anthony Cassar. I don't believe he'll be wrestling. We have Ty Walls, Ben Honus, Danny Chade, Kevin Beasley, Michael Boykin, Win Mahalik, and Jeremiah Imodi.
Yep.
Imodi. Okay. So it's my pick first. I'm going to go with Ben Honus to wrestle Kyvan Gadsden and Kyvan Gadsden.
You're a believer. Are you a believer finally?
If I got Cassar in here or someone else, I'd probably pick them. This weight class is just, honestly, I don't want to pick on anyone, Matt, but I'm going to say 97 kg has always been one of the weaker weight classes. And then, Matt, I feel like I'm looking at my camera. I feel like it's been zooming in on me the whole time, and I don't know how it's stuck doing that. It's really bizarre. It's flipping me out. So sorry, my ADHD totally kicked in. I feel like it's been getting closer and closer to me the whole time, and I don't know how. I really think it has. Okay, and then I'm sorry, I got totally distracted. I think 97 kg has been historically a not very great weight class, and then when you added 92, you pulled some of the talent and skill away from that weight class. So 97 is just, you got those top two, and I feel like the top two, Snyder and Gadsden, are just kind of head and shoulders above everybody else.
I tend to agree. In the guys in the mini tournament, the one head scratcher at the U.S. Open for me was Ty Walls, and he was on the national team a year ago, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And he pinned. Who did he pin? Didn't he pin? Or he pinned or beat?
He's had some good
quality. A good Russian guy.
He's had some good quality wins over the last 2 years, but he just either he was off his game or he was injured because he did not look nearly as something had to have been off. I don't know what that is, but if he's back in a healthy place, I think he can come through. But I tell you what, Ben Honus's
go ahead, pick him. We know you want to.
I'm going to keep running with it. I've been running with him all year. All He's going to get on top. His gut wrench looked lethal at the U.S. Open, and I think if he gets on top, watch out.
There we go. Ben Honus, baby. Okay. Heavyweight. We got Gwizdowski sitting out the final X. We got Kuhn sitting out till the trials finals. Yusuf Hamida. Gable Stevenson has, in fact, thrown his hat in the ring. Mike Kasoy, Anthony Nelson, Don Bradley, Derek White, Tate Orndorff, and Garrett Ryan. So I don't know why Anthony Cassar is listed at 97 kg and not heavyweight. That's kind of weird. But so I haven't heard he's going to wrestle either weight class.
I haven't heard even any little talk that he's competing at all. So I think that's out of the equation altogether.
Yeah. Yeah. So okay. So who are you going to pick?
I'm going with Gable.
You are? Wait, Gable for the mini tournament or Gable over Kuhn?
All the way through.
Over Gwizdowski?
No.
Oh,
Two
okay.
Final X.
Okay,
Not
two
over
Final X.
Gwiazdowski.
Okay.
I'm saying he's going to win the mini tournament. I think he beats Adam Kuhn, and he punches his ticket to Final X.
Okay. All right. That's good.
That's not. I mean,
listen.
That's not a big stretch, is it?
Yes and no. Honestly, I was thinking about this yesterday, and I was listening to Flo. They were talking about the trials, obviously. And I feel like this is, I don't want to say a make or break tournament for Gable Stevenson, but this is going to show us a lot because, going into last year, I think I said possibly the greatest high school wrestler of all time. I mean, he had won, three world titles, 2 cadets and a junior world title. So he had won 3 world titles. Won everything, competed at the senior level as a young high school senior. He wasn't even old for his grade. Competed at the senior level. And this year he had a good freshman season, but I think losing 2 times to Anthony Cassar, who had never been in the starting lineup before, I think that kind of knocked his stock down a little bit. And if he doesn't come back with some steam and do well here, I think people are going to start looking at Gable Stevenson a little differently. So I think he can go one 2 ways. I think I'm going to go ahead and semi-agree with you. I think he wins the mini tournament on Saturday. I do not think he can beat Adam Kuhn. I think Adam Kuhn's just a little too much. Adam Kuhn kind of smoked him last year. I could be wrong. I definitely could be. And then obviously I see Adam Kuhn wrestling Nick Gwiazdowski again.
Yeah, and I think that's a fair assessment. I think what Gable has been able to do, I think this was actually a smart move that he sat out the Open just to get refreshed. Is that?
To get refreshed? Yeah, because it's a quick turnaround from the Open.
And it's a long grind, especially when he's not a huge heavyweight. He's a decent sized heavyweight.
Yep.
So the wear and tear and the level of competition he faces in the Big Ten season, and then you got to factor this in going through the Big Ten tournament, going through the NCAA tournament. I think he needed time to step away, and as I agree with your assessment, he should be considered one of the greatest high school wrestlers ever.
Yes,
but
the number one. I said the number one.
He could be. I mean, you can make that point.
3 world titles.
On the back of that is his freestyle pedigree.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And the 3 world titles. So I think he's got another gear. He's more proficient in freestyle.
I mean, so if you think about the NCAA finals, Matt, the semis, he kind of pushed Anthony Cassar around. And so if you're in freestyle, I think you could have got some push-out points or got Anthony Cassar to make a bad decision, which then let him have a takedown.
Yeah,
that
ain't going to happen again.
But once
that's not going to happen against Kuhn, though.
It's not going to happen against Kuhn. But once Gable gets the lead, okay, but it's a different stylistic matchup, Matt, because against Kuhn, obviously you're not gonna out push Adam Kuhn. So what you got to do is you got to out quick Adam Kuhn. But against Anthony Cassar, you're probably, as a heavyweight, you're probably not going to out quick him. So what you have to do is you have to push him around a little bit. The styles make matchups, and so I think
he would physically dominate. He would dominate Cassar in freestyle.
You think he would? Okay. I
think he would tech ball him.
Oh my God, you're saying crazy. You're doing clickbait quotes, Matt. Clickbait. You're a clickbaiter.
I really did. The guy's a 3-time world champ.
So
in freestyle.
I mean, listen, I would tend to agree with you that he could push people around. For sure. So he's gonna 2 things. He's gonna get the push out points, which is gonna give him the lead, or he's gonna get them to make a bad decision where he's gonna get takedown and get the lead. Once Gable Stevens gets the lead, he's very, very, very difficult to score on, has a lot of really good counterattacks and can score up that. So listen, I'm not gonna go as far as a tech ball like you did, but you might be doing clickbait. But I think he beats Anthony Cassar in freestyle for sure. And I think probably he is much better suited for freestyle and folk style, because freestyle, folk style, he's not terrible on bottom, he's not terrible on top, but doesn't excel in those positions either. That's fair.
Yeah, he doesn't. That's not a separating point for his game right now. But yeah, I think the learning curve. I think he learned a lot competing against the top heavyweights at the collegiate level. I think the experience he got touching Adam Kuhn last year, I think Brandon Eggum and the staff are going to come up with a good game plan.
Yep.
And the thing with Kuhn, I mean, he's trying to make two different teams again this year.
So is he wrestling in both this weekend, or does he have like a bye or something?
He sits because he was a silver medalist last year.
The only one.
So he sits to Final X. So he doesn't have to wrestle this weekend in Greco, but you have to divide your preparation, right? Although,
seriously. Well, I mean,
the way he wrestles Greco doesn't.
Okay.
He doesn't change his game much between freestyle and Greco. So it's not like he's going on, if you're a tennis player, on the grass courts or on the clay courts where the game's completely different. His game, even though the styles are dramatically different, his style doesn't change that much between freestyle and Greco. But you do have to prepare a different way. So I know it's a bold pick, but I'm going to go with Stevenson. You may call me an idiot on Monday.
I didn't call you an idiot. I would never call you an idiot. Listen, I made plenty of bad picks. I will say you're a clickbaiter with the tech fall. Okay.
Well, people call me a Penn State homer all the time. So
are you?
Well, I did coach there for a long time. I have a relationship with those guys.
So we're going to go ahead and disclose that. I disclosed it with Wisconsin and Missouri. So, you could disclose it with Penn State. That's fine.
Yeah, I do have a bit of a bias.
Okay.
I do. I can admit I can admit that.
Yeah, and that's fine. There's no problem with that. As long as we disclose it up front.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it for us. After next week, we are going to be reviewing the World Team Trials. We're going to probably be starting to talk about Final X. We're going to be reviewing the World U.S. Open scoring breakdowns, which will be cool. And is there anything else we got, Matt, next week?
Well, hey, we got at least teased a little bit, like what we've got in the works leading up to Final X. I think could be pretty cool. I mean, if we
just want to tell them what it is, you can just tell them what it is.
No, I don't. I think we're still fleshing it out a little bit, but I think it's gonna be cool.
All right, good deal. Okay, Matt, I appreciate it. That listen, I'm gonna give Matt a shameless plug again. If you have not listened to episode 55, I am not on that one. It is Matt, Anatoly Beloglazov, and I'm sorry, what's his Alex? Correct?
Alex is his son.
Yep, Alex's son. Fascinating interview. Really fun to hear from them. I thought you did a really good job with that, Matt. So make sure you guys check that one out, episode 55 as well. And we will see you guys next week after the World Team Trials.
Cool, Ben. Take care.
See ya.